Welcome to Experience Growth. We're here to help you discover, define, and deliver your big ideas. Hey, this is Colin Tomlin, author of the Grow House series of books, publisher of EG Magazine, and the creator of the 21 Books Challenge. Now, book number 1 is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. This book is a treasure chest of goodness. It's actually one of the first books that kickstarted the whole motivational thinking, motivational speaking. Dale Carnegie was a speaker trainer back in the day, and he decided or was encouraged to put some of his thoughts in a book, which, to be perfectly honest, by his own words, he was bewildered as to why anyone would want to read this. But I hope he's looking down and really pleased at the fact that he was able to look down and have such an impact. I first came across this book in, I think, the late 70s or early 80s. But it's the first book that I'm aware of my own dad actually having and reading. My dad was a pastor, and this book here took pride and place beside the Bible. That's how important we knew it was back in the day. And having read it again recently, I can understand why he had that book and why he loved that book. So let's dive straight in. I want to share 3 thoughts from the book with you. 3 thoughts from the book with you. So let's jump right in. In terms of the way the book is structured, it actually has 4 parts. So the first part is fundamental techniques in handling people, and there are 3 principles associated with that part. Part 2 is 6 ways to make people like you, and he provides 6 principles to do that. 6 ways that you can put things into practice, or 6 things you can put into practice, rather. Part 3 is about how to win people to your way of thinking. Certainly if you are leading a team, or you're in charge of a business, or you run a business, or you run an organization, a large part is about helping people to see the vision and to understand the values or embrace the values of what you're trying to do. And this is really, really great in that there are 12 principles that he provides to do that. And then specifically in part 4, Dale looks at leadership, and it's how to change people without giving offense or arousing resentment. As leaders of organizations, one of the things we've got to do is help people to adapt to a way of thinking that's in line with the culture of the organization. And sometimes when we correct people, I think that probably should be change people's thinking without giving offense, because of course no human being can change another human being. Only encouragement and motivation can cause that person to change themselves. So, but hey, far be it from me to tell Dale Carnegie, who has sold 16 million books, what he should have put in his own book. But that's about helping to change people's thinking without giving offense or arousing resentment. So I want to focus here on part 1 and look at the 3 principles. So principle number 1 from chapter number 1. In fact, I love the chapter titles that Dale uses. Chapter 1, if you want to gather honey, don't kick over the beehive. Makes absolute sense, isn't it? And the key premise in this chapter is that people are creatures of emotions and not creatures of logic. And the way they feel has a bearing on how they think and how they respond to you. So here's a quote from the book, actually. Instead of condemning people, let's try to understand them. Let's try to figure out why they do what they do. That's a lot more profitable and intriguing than criticism. And it breeds sympathy, tolerance, and kindness. To know all is to forgive all. So the principle there is don't criticize, condemn, or complain. Try to understand what's going on in that person's world, in that person's mind, the kind of worldview they have, because all of that contributes to the thinking and the expression of the thinking. So principle number 1, don't criticize, condemn, or complain. Chapter 2, he talks about the secret of dealing with people. And he starts by asserting that the only way under heaven to get somebody to do something is to get that person to want to do it. And it's not really about manipulating, it's about motivating. And, you know, he quotes Sigmund Freud and the idea that one of the things that in fact, both Sigmund Freud and a gentleman called Dr. John Dewey, and he's saying that there are really two great urges that we have. One is the desire and the urge for sex, and the second is the desire and the urge to be great or to be important. So he said, in line with that, the principle is give honest and sincere appreciation, make that other people feel important, but do it sincerely. Otherwise, it will be flattery, and flattery is just insincere and it really doesn't work. It breeds mistrust. So the principle there is give honest and sincere appreciation, which is principle 2. Chapter 3, which drives principle 3, is, and again, I love the way he does his chapter titles. Here's chapter 3's title. He who can do this has the whole world with him. He who cannot walks a lonely way. And he talks about Andrew Carnegie, the Scotsman who went to America and became one of the leading industrialists of the 1900s, I believe. I don't know if there are any relations, Dale Carnegie, Andrew Carnegie, no idea. But he tells a story that Andrew Carnegie told about his nephews. Their mother was going a little bit spare because the boys had gone off to university and they were really poor at keeping in touch with their mother. Now, Dale, whose sister-in-law it was, their mother was the boy's mother was Dale's sister-in-law. He said, in fact, he made a wager that he could get the boys to communicate. And of course, one of his friends took the wager. And what Dale did was he wrote to the boys and, you know, exchanged some pleasantries, you know, asked how they were doing, didn't mention anything about their mom not hearing from them. But in the letter, he said, I have enclosed £5 for you so that you can spend on whatever. Now, don't forget the time. £5 would have been a whole lot of money. But what Dale did was he omitted, or he deliberately didn't send the £5. And of course, there was a letter coming back addressed to Dear Uncle Andrew. And you can guess the rest of the letter. So the principle here is arouse in the person an eager want. Of course, the boys wanted to communicate with Uncle because by communicating with their uncle, there was something in it for them. There was an eager want because, of course, they wanted the £5. So the principle number 3 from chapter 3, arouse in the other person an eager want. This book has 27 other principles along these lines in, of course, as I said before, 3 parts. So we've literally just dealt with part 1, and you can see that this thing is just packed full of goodness. So if you want the other 27, here's what I'm going to ask you to do. Click the link below and sign up to our newsletter, and I will send you not just a summary of all of the 21 books that are part of the 21 books challenge, but I will also send you this summary, and we'll also send you a link to a video, because the program is all about reading, watching, listening, digesting, discussing it in our private members community, scheduling your growth, because a new book comes out every 2 weeks, and of course, execute. We are majoring on execution. So we've got something called your Action Steps Guide. And what that guide does, it looks at 10 of the 10 growth thoughts that you can apply right now. So, very often we read books and we just kind of put them on the shelf in our minds and tick a box saying we've read them. We really don't want this to be one of those programs. This is all about execution and taking action. So every single one of the book summaries that we provide and the growth thoughts that we provide, we'll provide you with an action steps guide that you can put the wisdom into practice. All right, so click the link below, get not just the mini summary of all 21 books, but I also want to expose you to the book summary because once you see the goodness that's contained in the first one, I'm confident that you will want the rest so you can add value to your life, because this year, it's really about three things. It's about embracing or understanding the challenges, embracing the opportunities, and creating new possibilities, not just this year, but for the rest of your life. And that's what we provide in this program. We simply want you to be able to feel good, think better, and be your absolute best. So click the link and download these goodness so you can grow this year. All right, take care. Speak soon.